Hi everyone, welcome to another live ukulele lesson with me, Matt Stead. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be looking at how to take ukulele arrangements and make them longer. We're going to be taking a classic old bluesy tune, Freight Train. We're going to take a very small section of it and I'm going to show you how to create a really cool arrangement. So how are you all doing? Hope you're all keeping well out there. Let me know how things are where you are. I'll just catch up on a few of the comments and everything. It was a really weird day here today. It started like crazy sunshine, like it almost felt like the end of the summer rather than the start of the winter. And then I went to do some ukulele building with my friend Phil, and it's like the heavens opened, and it's just been absolutely hammering down ever since. So, been kind of crazy here. Hi Esther, hope you're doing well. There we go. Esther's been doing non-ukulele stuff all day, so she's having withdrawal symptoms. Oh, that's a good question before we get started. So Esther's asked whether high G or low G would be better for today. I would go high G on this one, just because we're going to be looking at a kind of almost like a claw hammer-esque technique. And I think it sounds really nice with high G. It'll still work with low G, so if any of you are on low G, don't panic. That's absolutely fine. There we go. Hi Pierre, hope you're doing well. Oh, you've been on holiday in Spain. Well, that sounds great. The COVID bit didn't sound so good, but that bit did. So yeah, good. Okay, cool. So just a couple of kind of admin things in case anyone hasn't had a chance to do it yet. The worksheets are still available to download and print out. There's a link in the description to my heaps site, and you can either get the £4 version, which includes everything the same, everything you need for your standard sheets. Or you can take out an £8 version, and that's just to give me a bit of a virtual tip. Thank you everyone, by the way. And also just to help out anyone, because every time I do one of these, I do send a few worksheets out to people who aren't able to afford them. So it just helps me to do that as well, to help other people. So that's brilliant. For some reason, I'm not focusing, so I'm just seeing if I can get this camera to focus a bit better. I'm all blurry, aren't I? There we go. I'll go to the other one if it doesn't get any better. Let's see. Hopefully it's settled itself down now. I think I might just have to come a bit closer. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so there we go. Oh, Karen's asking, how's the uke coming along? I tell you what, if you can, we'll have a break halfway today, and what we'll do, I'll get it out and I'll show you, because I did something cool on the ukulele today, and I'm desperate to show everyone. So we'll have a little bit of a break halfway, and we'll see if we can do that for you. So let's have a look at our piece of music we're going to do today. So this is Freight Train. You probably all know it. Lots of different versions over time. It's a really simple, gentle tune using, this one's in the key of F. F being the 1 chord. Freight train, freight train. Then it goes to the 5 chord, which is C in the key of F. F, G, A, B flat, C. Going so fast. Back to the 1. Freight train, moving so fast. I've forgotten the words to the next bit. Then we have the 6 chord, which is, the 3 chord played as a 7th, which is super nice. Da, 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 4 chord, da, da, and the 1 chord and C7 chord and 1. Now, what I want to do straight away is to kind of give you an example of how you could make this arrangement much more kind of satisfying and a bit longer. Because I don't know if you guys find this. I mean, I'm guilty of this in my teaching, but quite often when we teach, the music that we give you is kind of a means to an end. It's to get you to practice a technique or particular chords or particular patterns, that kind of thing. But sometimes it's kind of unsatisfying because, you know, it might be 8 measures or 16 measures long. And once you've played that through, you're kind of wondering, well, what can I do with it? And there's loads, loads of books that are like this, just 8 or 16 measure songs. So let's see if we can take those 8 measures, and that's what this song is. We've got 8 measures, and make them kind of really nice and kind of really lengthen the arrangement. We can look at various ways of doing it. So what I want you to imagine, and you can just relax for a minute because I'm just going to play something for you. Just imagine that the first 8 measures of your sheets are the arrangement. I'll teach it to you in a second, but it would sound something like this. Now, again, you know, it's still really, really nice. I should have got someone to time that, shouldn't I? But it's kind of short. So what I'm going to do now is, this might not be perfect. I haven't practiced this a lot, but let me kind of have a go at creating almost like a performance of it where I use various facets and ideas. And then what I'll do, I'll teach you the original arrangement, and then I'll teach you how to do these things, but explain what I'm doing so you can take the concepts and use them yourself. So I might start by actually making it even more simple by doing just the melody. Sorry guys, I'm not blaming you, Esther. I got distracted by a comment and I thought, oh, we've got the lyrics up, and I stopped what I was doing. I'll try that again. Sorry guys. Keep those comments coming, don't stop them. And then I might do the quiet version. So we're kind of slowly building. Change the feeling. Then a new section. And maybe at the end, I might go a little bit mad. Maybe add a little ending. So just a bit daft, but you can see that I took that kind of general basic arrangement, something really simple, and I've added lots of kind of more interest to it by gradually kind of changing with the dynamics. Let's have a look at what I did. So we're going to have a look at the second to last sheet. Sorry guys, this is going to be, everything's going to go black for a while. I'm just going to rub my camera and see if there's something on the screen, because that's a bit better. For some reason I was really cloudy, wasn't I? There we go. Okay. So if we have a look on the final sheet, we can kind of investigate some of the things you can do. So we've got altering volume and attack. So obviously when I went to those last 2 versions, I was really pushing hard, wasn't I? I was really kind of making it a bit more aggressive, a bit more fun if you like, kind of really going a bit wild with it. You can alter the tempo. So when I was doing the last ones, they're more complex, but also I'd taken the tempo up a lot just to really exaggerate that. I wouldn't necessarily go that fast normally. It actually hurt my fingers. But it gives you an idea of kind of how you can alter the dynamics by doing that, which I think is really important. We can change between strumming and picking. So say it was a performance piece where we've got vocals. Maybe one of the goes we could strum it, and the next time freight train, we could start kind of going from pick to a strum pattern. So these are all the kind of things you can do. The other thing that I did, which I love to do in arrangements, is that you can change the feel of it. So the original arrangement, the chords, the kind of the real kind of the chords that punch through in between the melody were on the strong beats. That's beats 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So it kind of, when the chords are on beats 1 and 3, it kind of holds things back. It makes it feel quite kind of, I'm trying to think of a way, not kind of marchy, but it's certainly got, it feels like it's held back. Whereas when we put chords on either beats 2 and 4, or we could even put them on every other offbeat, we've changed the whole dynamic of the piece, we've changed the rhythm, and that's one of my favourite things to do. So I'm going to teach you how to do all this, don't worry. And then don't forget that sometimes less is more. So the original arrangement was a chord melody arrangement, but when I did my version, I just did the melody to start with. And that's really overlooked sometimes. Sometimes if you play it really... If you really take your time and you make it sound really warm and lovely, that can be a really nice way to start an arrangement as well. So sometimes less is more. And then I don't know if you noticed, I added a whole new section to it as well, so where I changed the chords. And I'll show you how to do that. I go into a lot of detail about the chords that you can use, the melody, and we can do it. You can create your own section. So let's start by learning the actual arrangement first. So what we're going to do, if you go back to your worksheets, as I say, these are still available if you haven't had a chance to download it. I'll make it as big as I can, but hopefully I can still just about squeeze in next to it, so that in case anyone hasn't had a chance to download, you can see what I'm doing and I can point to various bits. So this first arrangement is a chord melody. That just means we're playing chords and melody at the same time. And what I've done is I've put a chord on the first and third beat of every measure. So we're in standard common time. So that just means 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of the chords are on the beats 1 and 3. What I like to do when I'm teaching chord melody, and anyone who's one of my students will know that I do this all the time, is actually just to learn the melody first. So let's have a look at measures. It starts in measure 9, roundabouts here on the second line, okay? The third measure over of the second line. You can either use the tab to help you here, or you can use the notation if you can read it. I'll show you as well where to put your fingers on screen. Let's do the close cam so you can really see. Okay, so we start with all crotchets. That just means 1, 2, 3, 4, nice and simple. We've got CA, that's 3, 0. GF, that's 3, 1 on the next string up. And then finally we've got E, open E, and then C, B flat on the A string, that's 3, 1. Now the rhythm is fairly straightforward here. You could think of it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of awkward, that bit. You could think of it as 1 and 2 and count it like that. But just see if you can follow it along. If I just play those first 2 measures, you copy back. Okay, here we go. Now your turn. I'm going to shut up for a second. Okay, good. And then the next bit, just follow it along with me. We're going to do 3, 1 off on the A string. That's C, B flat A. 3 on the next string. F, C, A. That's 1, 3, 0. Okay, in the key of F. So every time we play a B here, it's going to be a B flat, or you can just follow the tablature. So have a go at those 2 again. I'll be quiet and you can have a little go. Have a sip of coffee whilst I'm waiting. Okay, now this next one, just let me play it for you first. I'll play the next 4 measures all together because they kind of create this one phrase, and if I stop it sounds a bit funny. I'll play it and then I'll talk you through the timing of it. Now that measure 13, that first measure of the second line of the melody, it's kind of awkward in terms of timing. Can you see it's got that note on it? There's a note that has a dot next to it, and it's an A note. And a dotted note, a dotted crotchet, means that it lasts for 1.5 beats. So when I play that, I count that as 1 and 2, and then I hit the next note as and then we have 3, 4. So it'll sound like this: 1, 2, and 3, 4. Have a try at that. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Good. And then the rest is all fairly straightforward. Just a couple of quick notes here. F, F, G, F. So let's try putting the whole melody together, guys. You play along with me. Let's come in after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Three, 4. Three, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, well done. Now, again, I always say this, and I really do mean it. You've got the rest of your lives to perfect that. So don't worry if you haven't got it straight away. You can take your time and you'll soon pick up that. I should have said as well, any questions, just ask away, because I love questions. It means sometimes I might forget to tell you something, or, you know, it might be something else someone's thinking but is scared to ask. So any questions as we go along, just ask. So this form of chord melody, we're going to put chords down at the same time as some of those melody notes. Now there's 2 rules when we do that. First is we have to play whatever chord is indicated at that point in the music. So if we have a look at the very first measure of the whole piece, it's an F chord, isn't it? And we know that because there's a little box above which says F. So we have to hold an F chord down, but the melody note is this high C note. So therefore we have to play an F chord and we have to add this note here. And because the melody note is on the A string, we're going to strum all 4 strings like this. Okay, just like that. Let's try it again. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and you can't see it because I'm just trying to keep this sheet music up, but I'm just using my thumb to strum down. Notice, not fast like that. Just a gentle drag of the thumb over the strings. Keeps it really nice and mellow and warm, doesn't it? Which is what we want, which is really lovely. So after that, there's something interesting going on in this arrangement. I'm just going to take it down a little bit because I feel like I'm hiding behind it. There we go. Cool. Oh, it's very earwormy, Karen. Yeah, you have this in your head for days. I have. The next thing we do is we've got an open A note. Now, if you look at the tablature, this is a kind of exercise in not taking tablature too literally. The tablature tells you to play 2, 0, 3. So you might imagine it would look something like this, right? Because we've got 2nd fret, 0, 3rd fret, 2, 0, 3. And if you did strum down, and as long as you stop before you hit the A string, that would sound all right. But really, what we want you to do, and what I want you to do, is keep that F down for the whole measure. So when we strum the first one, we add the C and strum to it. Then we take it away for the open A note, that's 0. Then I just use my same finger, my forefinger, to put down this G note and strum to it. So we've got the sound of a chord, but we've also got the sound of the note. And notice that my thumb stops on the A string because we're only strumming 3 strings. And then the nice thing about that is if I take away this finger, I've got that 1, that F that I need at the end. So if I put that all together, have a try. 2, 3, 4. Freight train, freight train. All right. And we're going to keep that principle going for the whole of this piece. wherever there's a chord and a melody note at the same time, we're going to strum to whichever string has that melody note on. If it's the A string, we'll strum all the way. If it's one of the ones a bit higher, we'll stop after we've strummed it, so that we're hearing the melody and the chords come out at the same time. Next measure is pretty easy peasy, this one, because we have top 3 strings open. We hit the 3rd fret here for this C, and then we strum a C7. So that will sound like this. It's not too bad, is it? Let's try it. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, nice. I'll keep it on close cam so you can follow my fingers for these next bit. So then we have a C chord all the way with my little finger on the 3rd fret, so I hear that high C. A B flat note, that's your 1. All strings open. And then this note here, this G on the 3rd string down. So if I put that together, it's lovely, isn't it? You can hear the melody come through. Freight train, at the same time as the chords. And then the next measure is almost like the first measure in reverse. We've got F just using the top 3. Then we add this finger here for this C note, take it away and strum. Okay, let's try putting the whole of those first 4 measures together really slowly. Come in with me after 4. 2, 3, 4. Finger off, move up, off, 3, strummed 1. Good. And then strum a C, down to 1, all off, hit this G note, and then an F chord, add your little finger, and off. Okay, lovely. Then we've got these lovely A7 chords. The first one, the melody note is an A, so we just strum it all the way. We add this finger here for the B flat note, take it away, and add this one here for the G note. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, and we'll just pause there for a second. So Karen's got a good question. So for finger placement, it's all about economy of movement, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. We want to kind of create, we want to place them in the most convenient and simple way. So you'll notice when I did those F chords at the start, because my finger's already here on that C string, I could use that one, but I actually find it easier because I've already used this finger just to put it down. So again, economy of movement. If I did it kind of literally as it's tabbed, it would be much more messy like this. Look. That's really awkward, isn't it? Whereas if I do this, look how simple it is. And that's a general thing. Whenever you're doing these chord melodies, try and keep your fingers down as much as possible. So if it says an F chord, try and keep that down as you hit all the other melody notes. Same 7. With C and C7, it's a bit easier because you're only holding one note down anyway. But certainly any chords that have 2 or 3 fingers, try and keep those down the whole time. Makes it a lot easier for you. All right. That takes us along to these B flat chords. Now, I love this part because everyone hates B flats, right? Because you have to do this awkward barring, or you do this and you've got to do a double bar at the first fret. It's kind of awkward. Well, because the melody note in this measure only goes as low or as high, if you're thinking pitch, as this string here, this E string, we never have to play a note on the A string. So when you do these B flats, just keep them dead simple like this, 3, 2, 1. All right, just on the top 3 strings, 3, 2, 1. And you don't need to worry about flattening then. So it makes it a little bit easier. Notice we strum the top 3 strings only. We add this finger here, this little finger for the G note, and we take it away. And we can add it again for the 1, 3 at the end. Again, there's another example. A lot of people would read these tabs too literally, and they might kind of move about into different shapes to get them. But just keep that 3, 2, 1 down. Add your finger. That's it. And then to finish off, measure 7, just an F chord all the way, an F note. Then this one's interesting. I'll talk you through why I've done it in a minute, but it's 3-0-1. You can either take this finger from an F over if you can stretch it, or you can do what I do, which is I tend to swap it for this third one. And then I hit this G note with my little finger here, look, and then I'm back to an F. I'll do that last one again so you can see it. Okay. Now the reason I put that you've got that 3-0-1, that chord shape, is because the chord at that point in the song, if you're just strumming away, the chord would be C7. Da, 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 da. So we need to replicate the C7. The melody note is this F, that one there. Da, 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 da. Now that creates a bit of a problem because when we're doing chord melody, we want to stop after we've hit the string that features the melody note, right? That's what we were doing from the start, wasn't it? Now, the trouble is, if we strum a C7, which looks like this, to this note, the note that tells you whether a chord is a C7 or a C, so that's a C7, that's a C, is on the A string, right? And if I don't feature that A string, it kind of leaves the ear a bit doubtful. Am I trying to play a C chord or a C7? Which is it? Well, by putting your finger up here, we're adding a B flat note, which is this note down here that tells you you're playing a C7. So quite often in my arrangements, you'll see that. You'll see a B flat up here. So you get this feel of a C7 rather than a C chord there. And then it resolves to the F. Little trick that you might see that in a lot of pieces where you've got a C7. So let's take a deep breath. If you've got one, take a couple of sips of strong tea or coffee, and then we'll give it a go. Let's put the whole of that arrangement together. Then I'll show you how to lengthen it and make it more interesting. I'm sorry I'm going super fuzzy today, guys. I don't know what it is. My camera's playing up. I have to come in and out like this until it zooms in. I don't know. Here we go. So let's try the whole of the first arrangement. So this is basically the first line and a half, isn't it? Just put that slightly out of the way and you can see what I'm doing a bit better. Actually, I'll come in and close cam and then you can follow it better. Okay, here we go. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, next measure. The A7 part, 3, 2, 1, 1, 3, F, this funny one, and back to F. There we go. It's lovely, isn't it? So that's a really kind of cute little gentle arrangement of Freight Train on its own, isn't it? We've got the chords, we've got the melody, and we put them together and that creates a chord melody. Ta-da! Which is really super sweet. But we want to make that a little bit more interesting, don't we? So let's have a look at changing the dynamics completely. At the moment, our chords are on beats 1 and 3, as I say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice I'm always strumming on 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's have a look at changing the dynamics. We're going to put them on the offbeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, which is going to change the feel completely, which is really exciting. And that's something you can do. I'll teach you how to do it, so we do it in just a second. Think about the placement of the chords and see if you can arrange it so the chords aren't always in the same place. And you could do that with verses, couldn't you? Say it's like a verse, or you could think of it as a whole chorus all the way through. We can change it round after we've done it the first time. So let's have a look at these last two lines where it starts. It says offbeat. up here. Okay, just here. Okay, just there. I'm just going to stop just for a second, just take another quick slurp of my coffee and just see if we've got any questions or anything. Okay, so let's have a look at what's going on here then. The melody hasn't moved at all. The melody is going to be exactly the same. It is a total earworm, isn't it? A couple of people have said that. I've been humming it all week. Esther's been saying she's been singing it all day. So it's, yeah, definitely an earworm. Now, what I've done this time is I've put every chord on the offbeat. Sometimes this can be really easy because it's a matter of just hitting a melody note and then strumming down. But sometimes because the syncopation, some of the bits are syncopated. That just means the rhythm changes, so the notes, the melody notes, aren't played on the beat. The first measure, they are played on the beat. Have a listen. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're literally played on every beat, aren't they? But the next one, where are we? Next one, we have 1 and we've got a note that isn't on one of the strong beats, and later we have even more syncopation going on, so it presents a few challenges, but I'll show you how to deal with it. In the meantime, I'm going to show you a neat technique to allow you to play this offbeat strum in a really simple and effective way. Let's have a look at the first measure, and as soon as we've done that, you'll know exactly what I mean. So you can see here we've got chords that are on all the offbeats. You can see them in the gaps between the melody notes, right? And because it's an F chord, it says 2, 0, 1, because we've got 2, 0 and 1, right? So it's just telling you where to put your fingers. Now, generally when you get a chord melody like this that's written like that, and this is how James Hill arranges a lot of his stuff as well. I've learned quite a lot through James Hill, so I tend to use a lot of the same standards that he does in terms of how he writes things out. And whenever you get a chord like this, where it's 3 strings, your natural reaction is to think that we absolutely have to play just 3 strings. You kind of think of it as strumming down, wouldn't you, like that, or picking 3 strings at the same time like that. But really, when you've got these chords on the offbeat that come after the melody notes, what we're really hinting at is that you're just going to strum down, but you're going to keep it light, and you're going to aim towards the top 2 or 3 strings. You don't have to be exact. If you strum a little bit further, doesn't matter at all, but you're going to keep them nice and light and aim towards the top part of your fretboard, not down here, up here if you can. Notice I'm using the nails of my hand. You don't have to have long nails, you can use short nails, but just brush those nails gently over. So again, if we come back to just that first measure of the offbeat chord melody, the chords are just going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Oh, thank you, Karen. That's really kind. Thank you. Karen sent me a sticker. Thank you. So again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Just practice that with me. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now your hand is going to be doing that throughout the whole performance of this piece. I don't want it to stop hitting those offbeat chords. The way I find it easier, because those are all down strums, aren't they? I find the easiest thing is to pick the melody notes with my index finger. Could use any of these fingers really. Let me just see if I come over here you can see better. I could use this one. I don't want to use my thumb because that's too big a movement. What I do is I generally just pick up my index finger, or my second I tend to use most. So when I hit this C note here, I'm picking up on the A string, and then I follow with that offbeat strum, right? And that means I get an up, down. The next note's an A, so I take that away. I've got an up, down. The next note's a G here, look at my finger, and I pinch it and strum down. And then I take that finger away. Now in my tabs, I've if you notice that last one I did, that G note here with the F in, it looks like you've got to take it away when you do the strum afterwards, but you can just leave it down. It's the same for all these chords. Don't feel you've got to take that away. So what I'm doing in effect is I'll say the notes that I pick: C, A, G, F, or if you prefer thinking in terms of tablature, 3, off, next note, next string, 3, 1. And just like that, voila, you've got this really nice offbeat chord melody. Isn't that really cool? Let's give that a go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Cool. Let me know how you got on with that, guys. I'm just going to pause for a second before we have a look at the next measure. Super sweet way to arrange a chord melody and give it a completely different feel, because now it's almost like a crazy reggae beat in some ways, isn't it? Where we're just putting those chords on the offbeat. The next measure is slightly harder because we've got a little bit of syncopation going on. The first bit isn't too bad, so if you have a look, I'll try and bring it up a bit bigger, but place it up here. Hopefully you've got this on your sheets at home, guys. These are based around a C and a C7, so I tend to have one finger down or two fingers down here ready to go. So on measure 18, I just pick up on the E string, and notice I'm in a C chord now, and just strum down afterwards. Then I pick up with this finger on the high C note. Now this time I'm going to strum down, and I've got to move my finger to this C7. So it's going to sound like this. Do you see that? So I'm picking up, down, up, down. What makes it tricky is we're changing on that beat now. The syncopation has changed slightly. E strum, C, C7 strum. And then we've got two more just simple down strums at the end of that. If I put that together, you can think of it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Hard to count, isn't it? I prefer just take it really slowly and think of it as... I'm just going to play those first two measures, and I want you to notice something. Watch this hand. It's always coming down on those offbeats. See how it's not changed at all? It's always on those offbeats. That can be quite tricky at first, but I do find once you get into the groove of it, you can build up a bit of pace on this one, which is really, really nice. Let's have a look at another bit, guys. So, yeah, totally, Karen. I like that index finger up because you're just kind of going up and down, aren't you? It makes it easier. Sometimes I use my thumb if I just want to make it real strong. It almost sounds a bit too strong. I'm picking so hard that I'm kind of massaging the note a bit, but sometimes if I want a really strong melody I use my thumb, but in general that index is plenty enough. Okay, so that gives us our first two measures of this new arrangement. Let's have a look at the next bit. By the way, I'll explain a little bit more about how all this is working in a minute. Apparently I've made my website really small. There we go, sorry guys. In fact, I might drop it down there out of the way a bit. There we go. Okay, right. So now we're looking at measure 19. It's the bottom line of your first sheet, and we're going to keep this offbeat strumming going. Now this bit we're back to really consistent up and down notes because of where the melody notes fall. So I do C, B flat, A, G, or if you're into your tablature, 3, 1, off, 3. Yeah, just try and keep that finger roughly on a C7 if you can, Karen, just in case you strum a bit too far, you want the sound of it. So that one more time. And then we've got that slightly syncopated bit on the next bit. We go to an F chord again. Let me come in close. If it'll let me. Come on, computer. Yes. So this bit we have. Okay. Notice I'm keeping my F chord down that whole time. F note, strum, C note, strum, strum, pick, strum, pick, strum, strum. Okay. Let's try the first 4 measures of that then, right from the top. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. There we go, nice. Let us know how you got on with that. It is tricky, isn't it? Offbeat chords are always more difficult to do than on-beat because our fingers, they like to do things on the on-beats. It feels safe and you're kind of used to doing that. When we strum, we're mostly on the on-beat, aren't we? So let's have a look. This next bit gets a little bit tricky just because of the syncopation here, but let me talk you through it. Again, you haven't got to perfect this now. Just think of it as a technique that you could take into your arrangements. You can try moving those, shifting the chords about a bit, okay? And the chords are almost always written on top of music, aren't they? So you know which chords to do this on. And you notice I'm literally just holding the chord down, picking the melody note and then strumming down, and that's all you've got to do. So if you had your own arrangement of another piece of music, just keep the chord down, hit the melody note and then strum down. All right. This next bit's slightly awkward because of the syncopation, so I'm going to talk you through it really, really slowly. I'll come into close cam as well. So first off, we're going to hold down an A7 chord. We're going to pick up the A string and strum down, right? So then we've got a little gap, so there's no melody note there. You want to pick a melody note because it feels like you want to, but try and avoid it. And then we add this finger down here for this B flat note and we pick up. So we've got pick, strum, strum, pick. It's awkward because it feels like it's reversing in your mind what you're doing. Pick, strum, strum, pick. Once you get to there, you're almost home and dry because you just keep it going then. Then we've got strum, pick, strum. So. Sorry, it was a bit scrappy there, but hopefully you get the idea. Pick an A, strum down. Add this finger, strum down. Up, strum, add the G, up, strum. Okay, really good. We're nearly there, folks, with this second way of playing it. And again, I'll say this a million times, and I really promise I do mean it. Some people might think, well, I need a bit of practice, I can't do that yet. That's absolutely fine, because it's the principles. You can, as long as you know how to do this stuff, you've got the rest of your life to perfect it. You can take it away, work on this one measure at a time, get really, really comfortable with it, and then you can use it as kind of an example to create your own arrangements. Look at that, we've only got 4 more measures for this version. Okay, it's the first 4 measures of the second page. The next one's, again, is quite nice because we get to this B flat part. Now this is really interesting again. I'm just going to take a little sip of coffee, just a second. I keep leaving that too late and it's really cold. Oh, it's woken me up, that's for sure. Now, we've got this B flat chord, but look at all those melody notes. They're all on that second line down in the tab, aren't they? Which means they're all on the E string. So you can keep this B flat the whole time. Now, the chord boxes above are there to help you, but sometimes they can complicate things. Can you see that chord box, the second one along for the B flat? And the tablature is telling you to play 3, 2, 3, isn't it? So, and you'd imagine that might look something like that. 3, 2, 3. And you could play it like that, but then you'd have to move all these fingers, look. If I then have to change shape. It's really awkward, but really all it's getting at is that we're just adding this G note, I use my little finger, to this B flat chord. So you're literally just picking this E string on the B flat chord, strumming down, adding this finger to the G note, picking up, taking it away, and putting it back down. And you just need to practice the timing. It can take a little bit of practice, but this is the timing. Again, it's just slightly syncopated because that melody note comes on the offbeat at the end. But think of it as 1, 3, 1, 1, 3. And I just keep that pattern going. All right. And then we're virtually home and dry. Let's just do the next two measures whilst we're here. We're going to hold an F chord down for the first half of the measure. We're going to pick up on the A string, up on the E string. Then we're going to pick up on the E string, and if we can, we're going to move this finger over here to the 3rd fret of the G string. If you forget to do that, it doesn't make a massive amount of difference. You just miss a B flat in the chord. It's not the worst thing. So A, F, move over, and then I put my little finger down here for the G, and then I finish with an F chord, and I strum. Let's try that from measure 23 then, where the Fs are. 2 and 3 and 4 and... Fantastic. What I'm going to do then, guys, is I'm gonna play through that, so anyone that's joining in at home, you can join in. I'll move this out of the way so you can really see what's happening. So I'm just moving my sheet. I've actually got physical sheets here so I can see what I'm playing. Let's try the whole of this offbeat arrangement then, really nice and slowly. Take your time on it. I'll keep the tempo lower, and again, if you can't do it yet, don't worry, just keep practicing, you'll get it. And if you go wrong, just keep on going. All right, let's give it a go. I'm going to go about this speed. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and here we go. Remember, nice and light. Keep that right hand strumming down whatever happens, okay? And you'll get that lovely offbeat structure. I'm just going to stop and take a couple of questions for a sec, and then we'll have a look at another way of extending things, making it interesting, actually using new chords and things. So just take a second. Yeah, Karen, that's a great way of doing it. So yeah, you analyze the structure of the chord and think about what's the easiest way of doing it. But I always think if in doubt, just follow the rules of keeping the chord down no matter what you do. So if it's an F chord, use your fingers to add the melody note or whatever, but try and keep it down as much as possible. Same with that B flat. And that's where, again, even if this is just a little hint that you take away from today, it's a really important one. Try not to take tabs too literally. Again, if you have a look at measure 22 on that second page, a lot of people would read the tab 3-2-3 and think that they want to put down that shape. But because we're coming from this shape before, that's really hard, right? But if we just use our little finger, it's really easy. So try not to take tab too literally. A lot of people read the numbers, put their fingers where the numbers are. Think about what the chord underneath is. It's implying a B flat. That's written above. So rather than playing like this, we're thinking, well, that's my B flat. If I add that note that way, it's a lot easier to change, isn't it? So that's really important with this stuff. It's super important. So just to recap then, what have we done? So we've taken a chord melody arrangement, and first of all we've simplified it by turning it into just the melody. Okay, I've actually written the melody out for you. If you wanted to find the melody and it wasn't written out for you, normally it's the highest pitch note in a chord, if there's more than one number all on, one beat in the music. Or you can follow it on the sheet music. In a lot of sheet music, the melody is the up stems. They separate it from the chords just to make it clearer. My software wasn't letting me do that, and then I've just updated Sibelius and now it is. So we're going to do a Christmas chord melody in 2 weeks' time. I'll tell you a bit more about that at the end, but we're going to do a really lovely version of do you know Christmas Time Is Here by Vince Guaraldi? It's in the Peanuts film. Whoops, how if I play the right chord? It's really pretty. It's a lovely piece. So I'm going to teach you Christmas Time Is Here by Vince Guaraldi, and we're going to turn it into a chord melody. And because Sibelius will let me now, you'll see all the melody notes with an up stem. So if you have a piece of music and you can see there's lots of up stems on every beat, chances are that's the melody, so you can pick it out. So we played just the melody on its own. Then we played the original arrangement, okay, which had the on-beat chords. Then we took that and we messed about with the dynamics to make it interesting by playing chords on the offbeat. Okay. Now, if we just did the same 8 measures again and again, even if we changed about the dynamics and the tempo and the volume, eventually you're going to get bored of it, aren't you? And your listener will too if you're playing to someone. So sometimes we actually need to do a little bit of improvisation to make things more interesting. And that doesn't mean necessarily just thinking of like a solo. We can actually write our own piece of music. We can use the chords from the key that we think will fit really nicely. So let's have a look. I've done this myself, but you can then you can have a look at how I did it and have a go yourself in a bit. Yeah, me too, Lisa. And Vince Guaraldi is he's absolutely amazing. So many people know him from Peanuts, but his jazz music's like outrageously brilliant. It's just incredible. I actually love both. I think it was you, Lisa, wasn't it? Who's got the really cool Peanuts t-shirt. And I was saying I loved it because my grandma used to call me Charlie Brown when I was little because I had a bowly cut with very, very white blonde hair, and I just love Peanuts. I just think it's brilliant anyway. So yeah, so now you get to play it. You get to play the Peanuts theme. I love that. I know I'm getting off piece here, but it's kind of fun, isn't it? I really love the Charlie Brown Christmas film. We watch it every year, and probably about 20 years ago now, one of my close friends bought me the Christmas tree, a miniature version of it from the film, where he picks out the one he wants best because it's really sad and lonely on its own and nobody wants it because it's got no leaves on it and it's just twigs. So we have that sat in my fireplace, and I've got the blue little Charlie Brown blanket that we put underneath it as well, and I love it. I'm such a sentimental old fool, but it's just brilliant. Okay, right. What was I talking about? Yes, we're going to look at changing the chords around now. So we're basically going to write our own 8 measures of this song. Now, it can be really difficult to know where to start with things like this. Literally, what chords could I use if I want to write my own section? Now, there's something that makes it a lot easier. If you know that in any key, there are a certain amount of chords that are going to come up that you can use. Excuse me. And these are written out on your very last sheet, page 4 of your sheets. What I've done up above, you can see I've written out the F major scale. The F major scale is just the alphabet starting from F. The only thing you have to remember in F major is that the B is B flat. So every scale has a certain amount of sharps and flats. F has 1 flat, and it's that B flat. So the notes from the F major scale are F, G, A, B flat, C, D, and E. And the chords that naturally come out of putting those notes together, they're called the diatonic chords. They always follow this order. If you have a look below, we have a major, a minor, a minor, a major, a 7th, we call that the dominant chord, a minor, and then a diminished chord. And no matter what key you're in, they're always in that order. Now you can change these chords about. You can play suspended versions, you can kind of extend them into sevenths and 13ths and all sorts of things like that. But the basic chords are always the same in any key. So in the key of F, we have F major, G minor, A minor, B flat major, that just means normal B flat, C7, you could play it as a C, but I like it as the dominant chord, C7, D minor, and E diminished. So that's only 7 chords. That's your palette for writing this section. Now, what you want to do is you need to kind of create different chords from the original, because it's got to be interesting. It's no good doing the same again. That would take away the point. But you want a similar feeling. So if you think about it, this song, as I said at the start, it only uses, I think, 1, 2, 3, it only uses 4 chords. So we want our second kind of our own original piece of the song to mirror that. So if you were doing a complex piece of jazz and it had 7 different types of chords, you might want to do 7 different types of chords in your section. But if it's just a gentle blues thing like this, where it only uses 3 or 4 chords, you'd mirror that with 3 or 4 chords in your section. Now here are a couple of tips to help you create a B section. The first is your kind of choice of chords is up to you. Each of those chords has a flavour. All the major chords have a kind of happy sound, don't they? Kind of straightforward, happy-go-lucky. The minor chords have a darkness or a melancholy to them. The 5th one, that just means F, G, A, B flat, C, is played often as a 7th because that creates a real kind of tension or a groovy feel to it. And then the diminished, it's rarely used. I do like a diminished chord, but those are your kind of really mysterious sounding chords. So what you do is you take a few chords and maybe just start strumming it through. Don't worry about a melody or anything, just strum it through. Now the most common ones to use at the start of a B section is the relative minor to the major key. The relative minor, don't sweat this if you don't remember it, you can always watch this back. The relative minor, you can think of it as 6 up from the major. F, G, A, B flat, C, D. So you could start this next section with a D minor, and that would sound quite nice because it's a relative minor. So say we've just done a da 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 da. We could start strumming D minor. That would work, right? Sounds really nice. So that would be a really common chord to start with. So you could try that. The next most common is we go to the 4 chord, because the 4 chord, you've probably heard me going on about this, especially if you're one of my Canacapella students. The 4 chord gives a feeling of change, and a 4th chord in the key of F is B flat. That would create a really kind of upbeat, uplifting B section, so you might start with that. So again, I'll play the start of the original section. Da 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 da. We could do B flat. Sounds great, right? It has a really kind of upbeat quality. So that's another option. The one that I've gone for is I've started with the 5th chord. And the 5th chord creates a sense of drama and tension, so I really like the sound of that. So I've started my section with a C7, or a C would do as well. I think I've notated it as a C. It's kind of an implied C7. All right, so that's the one I've done. You keep the structure the same. We've got 8 measures, and you keep it simple. So if I show you what I've done, and then you can muck about later on and create your own. What I've done is I've created kind of like a mirror image. You know how the start of the song goes from the 1 chord F, freight train to the 5, going so fast, and then the 5 back to the 1, freight train, going so fast. Well, what I've done is I've flipped that. I've just gone for C7 where it was F, and F where it's C7. I do 5, then 1, and then back to 5 again. So that's something that you can do. and then I've gone back to 1 at the end. And then to create a kind of a turnaround, the feel of it wanting to go back to the original, I've used the A7. Because that A7 in the original, it's creating a sense of a turnaround and a bit of drama, isn't it, at certain points. That's why I've used that. So then you would have chords that fill up 8 measures, and then all you need to do now is think of some melody notes. Well, we know which melody notes we can use. If we've got 7 chords, we've got 7 melody notes we could use. All the notes in the key of F. F, G, A, B flat, C, D and E. And you could find those using your F major scale. Let me just show you that quickly, just so you can have a look at the F major scale. Let's go from the F here. It would be F, first fret of the E string, G 2 higher, open A, B flat at the first fret, C at the 3rd, D at the 5th, E at the 7th, and then F at the 8th. So you could use any of those notes, and you could do it in any order. I think I just played the Holly and the Ivy by accident. Holly and the Ivy. Must be the Christmas that's in my head. But yeah, you could do any of those notes. And create your own little melody that you could do for your section. And what I've done is I've just kept it really simple. I haven't done anything super clever or fancy here. I've based it around C chords for a couple of measures, and I'm just using B flat, C and D in various orders. Now I'm also keeping the feeling going because we were doing that up strum like that, weren't we? So my one, if you want to try having a go at it, just goes up, down, and I go 1, 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, and then I go back to an F. Just strum that. Now do it again. 5, 3, F, and then I go to the A7 to make it feel like it wants to turn around. And again, that just creates like a bit of it takes the listener on a journey, doesn't it? And it's quite sweet as well because you've added your own stamp. Maybe one day people will start playing your version because, you know, it's kind of cool and it makes it longer. So I'll just very quickly, I'll play the offbeat version and then into that section. Just super quick, just so you can hear how it would sound, for example. So we've got this. New section. Kept it really simple. You could make yours more complex. And then the A7 makes me want to go back to the start. And then I might just finish off section. I'll just finish it off since I've started it. There we go. So it's really a great way in terms of making your own arrangements is thinking about actually adding a little bit of your own improvisation. We've improvised chords and we've improvised a melody as well. Just so you can have a go at my version, let me go through it really slowly with you and then you can have a try playing it along with me, and then I'd like you to have a go at making your own. And if you get a chance, in the description there's a link to my Facebook group, the Uke Students Hangout, and I'd love to hear your versions. If anyone can think of a new B section rather than just playing mine, you get extra brownie points. So see if you can do it, see if you can think of something. Okay, let's just have a quick look at mine just so you can have a go, okay? So the first bit's nice and easy because we're basically just doing notes on the A string and then on the chords you just strum down. So you're just picking up on 1, 3, 5, 3 notes. I keep my fingers on because then I don't have to kind of move up and down all the time. Okay, so 1, 3, 5, whoops, sorry, 3. Then I just go 5, 3 again, and again. And then I just go to an F chord, just pick up once, and strum down. Key is keeping these in time, these down strums. Then I go again, 1, 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, 3. And then I add that A7. Okay, so just when you get time later on, and if you feel confident enough, see if you can create your own B section. A really nice way again of lengthening the arrangement. So we've done loads of things. It might not seem it because we haven't thrown masses of it, but we've changed the volume and the attack. We've changed the feel of the piece because we've gone through those offbeat changes. We're doing a different way of picking because when we did the first version, we're strumming everything down with our thumb nice and warmly. But now because we're doing that up and down strum, it's changed the timbre, the kind of the tone that we're producing of our instrument. So it's a different way of strumming or picking, if you like. It changes it, which is really great. We've looked at building less from more, taking just the melody, then playing the original version, then changing the dynamics, and then finally we've added our own version, which is super sweet. Now I'm just going to hang on just for a minute longer before I show you one last thing, which is really fun. I'm going to show you how to do this cool kind of claw hammer version of doing it. And believe it or not, you're 2/3 of the way to being able to do that already. It's really cool. The reason, I do ask questions. I'm just going to hang on to see if any come up. The reason I think that claw hammer works really nicely, and the reason I'm going to teach it to you, is because we're kind of changing the genre even. We've gone from kind of a gentle, almost classical feel of a chord melody to an upbeat kind of pop feel. And then we're kind of going into claw hammer and almost like a bluegrass feel to something. So again, we're bringing not just a different way of playing it, but we're almost changing genre within the song. And audiences love that, especially if you change the tempo a bit and it suddenly picks up. You get people clapping along and stuff. If you play it well, you do. If I play it badly, they just sit there looking grumpy. But yeah, it excites your audience, even if that audience is just yourself. And that's really important. Sometimes the audience is just ourselves, and that's really important too. I took delivery of a new baritone ukulele, just a vintage thing recently. And yesterday after work, I just sat down. I played with this baritone for ages. And I wasn't doing anything fancy, but gosh, I could just feel like the tension melting away. And that's a really lovely thing. Never forget the importance of just playing for yourself and just enjoying yourself. It's super important. Anyway, let me take a look at this kind of claw hammer version. Do let us know how you're getting on, even if it's just a thumbs up or anything, just to check that that it's all still working and you haven't all gone to sleep. You are still following. Let's have a look. So first of all, we're just going to have a look at the physical technique of what we're doing here. So yeah. Cool. Oh, that's good. I'm about to answer that, Esther. I read your mind. Look. So claw hammer, right? We have sorry, trying to get my brain in gear. You can think of claw hammer, the main part of a claw hammer pick is something called the bum ditty. All right, it's this sound where we have almost like three notes going on. Bum ditty bum ditty bum ditty bum ditty bum ditty bum ditty, all happening in the space of where you would normally get 2 strums or sometimes even 1. Now if we think of that as 3 syllables, bum ditty, when we're doing our offbeat strums, you're halfway to claw hammer already. It's slightly different to standard claw hammer. Normally in standard claw hammer you would pick the melody notes with this finger hitting the string like this. but we're just going to pick those up to make it easier. This is often called the Pete Seeger technique. He had a way of playing claw hammer which was often referred to as the Pete Seeger flailing technique, and it's the way I play claw hammer. I very rarely use this nail. I pick everything up with my index finger because it's softer. So hold down your F chord and just try picking, let's try picking this E string. Okay, it will produce an F note because our finger's there, and just pick up and strum down. So that's kind of what we're already doing, isn't it? Bummed it, bummed it, bummed it. Now this time, keep doing that. Move your arms slightly back so it's not going to get caught up in the fingerboard. And do the same thing, but this time I want you to rest your thumb on this G string. Bummed it, bummed it, bummed it, bummed it, bummed it, bummed it, bum. Okay, brilliant. Oh, you guys are all still there. You're just working hard. Good. I always like to check. I know it sounds daft. It's my software sometimes plays up and all the comments disappear, and I suddenly realise 10 minutes later you've been asking me loads of questions and I've been ignoring you. So I'm just checking. Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Cool. Thank you, Vicky. Thanks, Lorna. Thanks, Esther, as well. So that's our bum dit of our bum ditty. We're already doing it, right? So that means if we want to kind of make this claw hammer-esque pick, all we need to do is take our thumb away, picking on that G string after we've done our bum dit. It'll sound like this. Bum ditty, bum ditty, bum ditty, bum ditty. And it sounds great because it's like you're getting 3 notes in the space of 1. So again, you're already doing this. Now you just add in the thumb pum, the thumb pum, the thumb pick. And then you could do a whole round of it, again, just doing that. Freight train, freight train. See how I'm just taking our up, down strum and I'm adding the thumb in. Sorry, I'm going to do that again. Notice how kind of more relaxed and loose that is. Claw hammer would be more kind of strict claw hammer. It'd be a bit more forceful, but this is a bit more gentle and relaxed, okay? Esther asked an interesting question. I've only just clocked, I think, what you were talking about. All right, I'll go and get my ukes in a sec. Give us one more sec to just finish this claw hammer, and then I'll bring my baritone out, and I'll show you the one I'm building if you're interested, because I did something really cool on it today. So those dotted notes in claw hammer, those awkward ones. What I do is I don't claw hammer everything, if that makes sense. So yeah, don't worry, Pierre. I'm on it. I promise. I'm on it. That claw, that whenever you get a dotted note, which is, or another way of thinking about it is those syncopated bits we talked about. It's kind of quite awkward to claw hammer over all of those. So like measure 18, you've got this quaver going to another one, and you can't really fit a really nice kind of claw hammer pick in that. So I might just pick the first part. I actually only claw hammered the very first note. Claw hammer pick. So I don't put them in everywhere. So for instance, and then I'll be back to doing it on everyone. Same here. And then this dotted note here, that one I will do a claw hammer at the first part, but then I don't on the next part because there's not room. So just kind of, if you get a dotted note or you get a note that's very short and you don't have time, just leave it off, and you'll kind of eventually get a feel for where to put them in. Okay, there we go. Cool. So, oh, excuse me. Let's just take a wee break, and I'll see if there's any questions for any of that. And whilst I do it, can I show you my uke I've been working on? I'm really excited about this. I'm still here for questions. Don't worry, I haven't gone mad. So anything you need to know about what we did today, let me know. But just remember, dynamics, volume, rhythm, offbeat and onbeat, and then improvisation. If you can hold on to all those things, add them to an arrangement, you can take a piece that's only 8 measures long and you can turn it into something a lot longer. Here we go, guys. So it's kind of in build at the moment, but as soon as you'll see it, you'll see what I've done this morning. So there's a little bit of blue tape on that gives it away. I don't think some of you that have been doing my Canacapilla have seen this since I finished the fingerboard and everything. I'm really proud of that. I put the dots on the other day. I've got a nice swirl at the end. So that's my fingerboard. That's my headstock with the... This is when we went to Hawaii, the first night there, we arrived at like 3 o'clock in the morning and the kids were too tired to go to sleep. And so we went to the beach at Waikiki. And I just remembered everything being like really black, but with like a real golden tinge from the moon. So I've kind of tried to create that myself. So this is actually, you probably can't see it very well there. This is gold abalone, so it's got a real kind of yellowy hue to it. So if you can, yeah, you can see it better there. So it creates that kind of midnight at the Oasis, midnight in Waikiki. And then this is exciting. It probably gives away what I'm going to do next. So I've created, if you have a look on the inside, can you see that Forest Ukuleles logo? Let's see, I need to move it this way, don't I? Like that. You can just see my Forest Ukuleles logo. My logo is an oak leaf, because my favourite part of the forest isn't the fir trees and the plantations. I love the natural ancient woodland, the oak woodland. And I've created something cool. I'm going to do an oak leaf shaped bridge, and I made it today. I'm going to show you in a minute, just a piece of wood. But yeah, so I've just got to finish sanding it down now. I've done a little heel cap and everything now, and then get it ready. And yeah, hopefully before Christmas or shortly after, it'll all be ready and you can hear it being played. Let me just show you my bridge. I was just really proud of this. Took me ages to do this morning and get it all smooth. So, oh, hang on, I'll do it on close cam. How cute is this? It's my little oak leaf. It's my little oak leaf bridge. So we're gonna route out along here for the saddle, and then the strings are going to go in little holes in each one of these. That's my oak leaf saddle, and all of my forest ukes. I'm going to start building these eventually. All of my forest ukes are going to have different leaf shapes for the bridge. I thought that'd be a really sweet way of doing it. So you can kind of, I don't know if you can get the idea, kind of see how it's going to work like that. It should look really nice and kind of natural, hopefully. So yeah, that's been all my hard work over last few weeks, sanding and getting that ready. There we go. Thanks, guys. I'll show you a couple of ukes that came in if you're interested. So the baritone needs a bit of work because the action's way too high on it. I am coming back. I just grab it, just show you. Here we go, guys. So this is the baritone that came in. It's a really nice harmony, and you can probably tell from my uke I really like fingerboards that have a bit of interest going on. And this one, it's got this really unusual. Can you see that black strip down the centre? It's really figured. I think it's. I'm not. In fact, I'm not actually sure what the fingerboard is made out of. Normally, it's ebony or a maple. This looks almost like a mahogany, but I'll ask Phil. He'll probably be able to tell me. But yeah, harmony. It's probably well actually. Yeah. way out. But these harmonies are really nice if you ever get hold of one. You guys that live in the States, you're really lucky because these were built in Chicago. And these they're really kind of they've made thousands and thousands of them, so you can get hold. Really nice faux tortoiseshell binding. That's what I put on my uke because I love the look of it. And they've got these really cool harmony little transfers on them, which is really sweet. But you can see the action on it is like crazy high, so I've got to do a bit of work on this one, I think, really, just to bring it down before I put it into the shop. Yeah, I've just been going a bit mad. There's so many ukes that I haven't listed yet. I got this harmony, which is really sweet. Again, you got that little transfer, but I've wanted one of these for the shop in ages because they did these really nice stenciled kind of Hawaiian scenes with the canoe and everything, so kind of sweet, isn't it? So that one's got to go on the website at some point as well. I love how simple they made. A lot of the early ukes, especially from Hawaii, they didn't have a fingerboard. The wooden fretboard just joins at the bridge, which is really interesting, and they've done the same for this one. And it's got, look at that, proper old-fashioned friction pegs like they used to be. So no gear tuners here. They take a bit of kind of getting used to because you've only got to turn them. You've only got to turn them a tiny part, and they go for they go mad. So yeah, let me just. Oh yeah, I should have moved my sheet music. Thinking about it. Oh, there we go. Now you've just got me, and new chair. No, I'm still using 2 planks of wood to prop myself up. Okay, this will be really embarrassing. I'll try and move this without showing you. Oh my gosh, look, that's my mess. This is my setup, guys. That's all my sheet music that needs putting away. That's my mess. And then this is my chair. Hang on. 2 pieces of wood. I tried tying one of them up and it wasn't working. So I've got two pieces of wood to keep my chair in position. It's terrible, isn't it? And I tried because they're all on canisters and they kept falling off, so I've got 2 that have come off, and I can't knock the others off no matter what I do. I've even used like a sledgehammer on them. The others won't fall off. 2 wanted to, so I've got 2 at a different level, and if I don't put a piece of wood there, I kind of end up falling backwards if I'm not careful. So yeah, it's embarrassing, isn't it? Terrible. But yeah, there we go. It's a shame I have to keep this phone plugged in because I'd like to show you the rest of the uke room. You can kind of just about see it through this door if I point in the right direction. Some of it. This is where all the fun stuff happens. Through that door, that's where all my proper ukuleles are kept and everything. But it doesn't work with wireless, this phone. So unfortunately, you're stuck in here with me. This is my work room where I do everything. So yeah. So there we go. Oh, I did listen eventually, Esther. It just took me a while. So yeah, let me show you again. This is the harmony. Look, and then do. If there's anything else you want to see, give us a shout. I'm always glad to do a show and tell, which is cool. I also got one of my friends sold me his old Regal, which I've got in. There's a bit of work to do on that as well. I've got to take the bridge off because it's lifting slightly and redo it. So that's quite a sweet one. I definitely need a new chair from Santa. It's terrible. I used to love this chair as well because you can play ukulele on it. You can move around. And it's got no arms, but it's really comfy. So it's great for that. But yeah, maybe not when it's falling to bits. It also makes this horrible noise. Whenever I move on it, which is really distracting when I'm trying to record like a quiet piece of jazz music. You've got all this happening. It's like, oh, so I have to sit like extra still whenever I'm doing any lessons or recording. So yeah, the veil has been lifted. You're seeing how shoddy I am with my office and everything. So yeah, I'll show you my hive. This is my this was my first ever kind of proper uke, if you like. I'm not. It's the first ever one I had made for me, which I absolutely love. And I'm not snobby. Like, I still play my 150 quid mainland and love it to bits. It gets played all the time, so I'm not snobby about it. But this was one that Jake McClay made me in California. And it's just, his craftsmanship's just amazing. This is kind of something that I can only aspire to, really. I mean, look at the gloss finish on that. It's just mad, isn't it? But this is called Bird's Eye Maple. And maple's often thought as a real bright wood, but Jake builds these in such a way that they're really warm sounding. And he said this was the best ever Bird's Eye Maple he ever got, because it's got all these little eyes all over it. It kind of, Esther, this would go well with our Bet Lynch cases. It almost looks a bit like cheetah skin, doesn't it? There we go. But this is my favourite. It's the little details in the hive that I love. Like, even if you have a look on the back strip, he's kind of laminated the strip which holds the back fast together with a black bit of ebony and two white bits of maple, and it's like little details like that. It's just mad. And like the pegs, they've got these little tiny circles, and they match exactly the little tiny fret markers, which these little tiny steel tube things. So he's so clever. It's just super amazing. That's Jake McClay from Hive Ukuleles. So yeah, just love his stuff. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I need to get a chair with flip down arms. That might be the way to go. Yeah, cool. I'm just checking to see if there's any other things that I missed, and then I'll wrap up, guys. So thanks, Lorna. Thanks, Karen. I'm always here. I'm always open. You know that. So yeah, I've got a nice new Kamaka tenor coming, which is going to be super nice. I've there's so many that I haven't listed yet. I've just been so busy. Some of you know that I've been having some health problems as well, so I'm way behind with everything. But I'll catch up. I'll catch up eventually. So oh, bless you. Thanks, Esther. Cool. Ah, here we go. The difference. I have a question. Difference between triplets and bum ditty. I guess bum ditty is a form of triplet, really, because you're doing 3 beats in one. 1 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. So you kind of got 3 events happening in one, like a triplet. 1 like that. 1 and a. I guess the main thing, the difference between bum ditty and triplets is, generally speaking, when you do triplets, every part of a triplet strum is the same length of time. Triplet, 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 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. But when we do bum ditty, that bum is slightly longer than the 2 that follow. It's almost like twice leg. Bum ditty, bum ditty, bum ditty. Otherwise it'd be like something like that. So yeah, I guess that's a difference I think of. But I guess technically the bum ditty is a form of triplet. Triplets are any time you get 3 events or 3 strums in the space of either 2 beats or 1 beat, basically. So yeah, cool. Oh, thanks, Lorna. Glad you could make it. They're not always as hard as the stuff we did today. I went a bit mad today with some of the claw hammer and stuff, but hopefully you guys were able to follow it. And like I say, even if you didn't get it first of all, bit of practice and you'll get it with time. Okay, well, I think I'm going to head off now, guys, because I'm starting to do that rambling thing, am I, where I just end up talking to you about my ukuleles and my health problems and all that. So yeah. Oh, hang on, I've got one question I've got to answer. This is a really tough one. Which uke has the best sound you ever heard? Oh man, it's so hard because ukes are so subjective. Probably the best ukes that I've ever played are I love Jake's, the Hives. They're so powerful and mellow. So Hive absolutely is in my top 5 of all time. I have a more better ukulele which was made by Chuck Moore in Hawaii, and that's got this really lovely kind of quite a bubbly Hawaiian sound. It's just beautiful, really soft. So that's in my top 5. Bo Hannum. Bo makes his ukes with thicker, stiffened sides, and his ukes, they're like pow, they're like a cannon. They give like this really punchy forward sound, which is really, really great for finger picking. I'm very biased, but Phil Davidson, who makes ukes in the forest here, I have never heard a uke that has the bass response that Phil's do. I've never played one, even amongst the best ukes in the world. I think the bass response in his instruments are just incredible. They have like this really depth to them, which is really, really lovely. So yeah, he'd be in my top 5. I couldn't say one. I couldn't say one. Aaron Kime as well from Bean Sprout Ukulele is just making incredible things. But the thing is, there are so many talented luthiers around the world now. It's just we're living in a golden age for it, and we're so lucky that there are just amazing ones. I haven't mentioned people like Divine, Tommy Ziegenspeck in Germany, Pete Howlett in Wales. So many great makers. It's impossible to narrow it down. But for me, I'd say Hive, more better, Aaron Kime, Phil Davidson, and which one? And Bo Hannum. I think those would be my top 5. So there you go. All right, well, I'm gonna head off, everyone. Thank you so much for supporting me. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone. You've been really kind sending your tips through these last couple of weeks, and it's really helped to keep things going because the shop side's gone really quiet with the cost of living and everything. So thank you, really, really appreciate that. And thanks for anyone that's bought sheets for today and just coming along, taking part. It means a massive amount. So thanks, guys. I'm working on another indie ukulele video, so we'll have another one of those. Probably going to be another 5-10 days on that because it's taken me a bit longer, this one, but it's going to be really fun. So we've got another indie uke coming. I'll have another one of these in 2 weeks' time, and we're going to do that lovely Christmas number. I'm like super excited. I'm going to wear my Christmas hat and everything. And then finally, we'll be back every Monday now, going through until I break up for Christmas, with our Canacapilas on Monday at 6 o'clock as well. So come and join us for that if you can. Really good way of learning without sheet music. So yeah, fantastic. Oh, one last one, and then I promise I will head off. So yeah, there's going to be an amazing event with Sarah and Craig in Tennessee with Herbota. I haven't had a proper chance to look into it yet, Karen, but yeah, that'd be right up my street. Sarah and Craig in Hawaii. That's Sarah Maisel and Craig Chi. 2 of the most amazing players that I've had the pleasure of playing with, and 2 of the nicest human beings on the planet. Just love their stuff. If you didn't get a chance to see it, they did a backyard concert with Nue, which are a Hawaiian band with Brian Tolentino. Just absolutely incredible. So go back and watch that if you missed it, because it's absolutely brilliant. Anyway, thanks everyone. You take care, and I will see you next week. Cheers, everyone.